there! Welcome to my channel. I'm Olivia. I'm so glad that you could join me today. And today I wanted to talk about starting a project pan. It's something I've been thinking about for a while. I've watched a lot of people do videos on it. I think the first person I saw talk about it was Andrea Mitigliano. I saw Kelly Gooch talk about it, Sarah Rose, so I'm just feeling really inspired to want to use up some of the things that I have that I really love. I want to make sure that I get my money's worth out of them and then I can use them up, but before they go bad. So I was looking through my collection and trying to pick out what would be good to start with my first pan. I've never done one before, so I wanted to make sure I picked things that it was a good variety, that I had some things that would be pretty easy to get through, so that would be encouraging. Some things that I've just had for a long time and I really just need to make sure I'm cycling through it. And other ones that I really like and for whatever reason I just don't reach for that often. So I want to make sure that I'm using the things that I really love, and if I end up still not using some of these things, then it might be time to just pass them along. So let's dive on into what I picked out. So one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I chose for the project pan was a foundation. I have about 5 or 6 just regular foundations and then a couple of like really light coverage BB creams. So I don't think it's a huge amount, but it's still enough that just for one person, it's more than enough. So I really need to make sure that I'm actually using up the things I have. So the one that I chose for the pan, it's the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation. And I really like this one. This is probably the one that I'm the closest to finishing. It's kind of hard to see because it's all up on the sides, but I think it's honestly right about there. It's really close to the end. And I'll do a close-up so you can see it a little bit better. This is something that I really just want to make sure I use up. I like it. I don't know that I would repurchase it necessarily because I don't think I like it more than other foundations that I've used before, but I'm glad that I got a chance to try it, kind of compare it to some other formulas. I know it was one that a lot of people talked about, so I definitely wanted to give it a go. So this is one that I think honestly I can finish up pretty quick. If I exclusively use this foundation, I don't think it'll take me very long at all. And then the next thing that I wanted to pick out was a brow product. I'm not super particular about my brows. Sometimes I'll use a powder, sometimes I'll use a pencil, and somehow I just ended up with more than I think I really need. So the one that I want to make sure I use up next is the AOA Studios Sculpting Brow Pencil. This is one that I've had for a little bit, and I think it's a pretty good color match. I actually really like this one, and it's literally $1, so I think it's a really good deal. But it's the one that's the closest to finishing up. I'll keep track of it on a piece of paper because it's a little bit tricky to see. But I think, again, if I just use this one, I don't think it'll take me a terribly long time. I don't really need to use a ton of product in my brows. They're not so sparse that I really need to fill them in a ton. I think, honestly, it'll take longer than I anticipate to use this one up just because I don't really need to fill in my brows that much. But I definitely want to make sure that I use this one before I open up any more brow products. So another one that I've had for a while is the Thrive Causemetics Infinity Waterproof Eyeliner. This is just a basic black liner. It has like a smudger tip on the end, and honestly, I don't think there's really anything special about it. A friend of mine had gotten it in, I think, a BoxyCharm, and she wasn't using it, so she gave it to me. So I don't dislike it, I just don't think there's anything like, wow, amazing about it. But I've had it for a while. I use eyeliner pretty regularly, so I think this is the next one that I should try to work through. And then I have 2 things that I've just had absolutely forever and I need to get through them. So one of them is the Ulta Beauty Tinted Eye Primer. This one is in Peach Glow. I'm pretty sure this is the first actual eye primer that I ever bought, and I really like this one. It has a really pretty sheen to it, and honestly, sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I'll just do this. And it's just a really subtle, pretty glow. I don't know if you can even see it, honestly, but I love this one. But again, I've just had it forever, honestly, like a few years. I'm not really sure how long you're meant to keep these, but it's something that I really need to make sure I'm using up. sometimes I just don't reach for this one. I'll go for like my Milani one, or sometimes I'll even just use concealer. So even though I like this one, I want to make sure that I'm actually using it. And if I'm not, I've had it for years, I should probably just let it go. The other thing that I've had for a really, really long time is my Too Faced, let's see here. So it's the Too Faced Love Flush in the shade I Will Always Love You. This is such a nostalgic product for me. And honestly, even if I never use it up, I don't know that I'll ever get rid of this one, because this was the first high-end product I ever bought. The very first one. And for a long time, it was the only high-end product that I had. I still don't have very much, and honestly, I only ever buy things when they're like on sale or some kind of a deal. So this one, I think it might have been part of like the 21 Days of Beauty a few years back, or some other kind of sale. So I think I got it for like $10 or $13, something like that. And it's a really pretty, just kind of basic peachy blush. I have a lot of other ones in my collection like this, honestly, but this is the one that I've had the longest. This is the one that kind of started my love for makeup, and trying out different things and different formulas and seeing people's recommendations and wanting to go try it for myself. This kind of started it all. So I love this one, and I'm excited to get more use out of it. And so then the last product that I want to put in my pan is my Wet n Wild Color Icon Bronzer. This is one that I've had for a little while, and I do have a pretty good pan on it. It's reaching right around the second ring there. So I like this one. I used it a lot. I think it's just that at this point I have a lot more bronzers in my collection that I like a little bit better. That might be a little bit better shade for me. I think when I bought this one, I was really, really pale, and it showed up a little bit better. Now I'm a little bit tanner, so I just don't tend to reach for this one because it doesn't show up as well, but it's still a good bronzer. I really like it. I think this is one of the first products that I bought off of like a YouTuber's recommendation. It was Kathleen Lights that was talking about this one. I just love her. I think her videos are so fun, and I really wanted to try it. So anyway, this is one that I really want to work through, and I'm excited to get some more use out of it. Okay, so that's everything that I want to include in my project pan. I think 6 products for my first one is a good number, and I'd like to do this as like a rolling pan, so once I do finish something, I'll swap something new in for it. I'm really excited to get started, so I'll do updates every month so you can see what my progress is like, keep myself accountable so I make sure that I'm using these products. So definitely check back in if you're interested. I'm really excited to get started on this project. I want to make sure that I'm using up the things that I have and really getting full use and enjoyment out of the things that I've bought and I really love. So if you're interested in seeing how my progress goes, definitely make sure you subscribe so you can check back in. I'll be doing updates every month so you can see how this journey goes for me. So thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!